Every single day people walk right past it. It's black. It's heavy. It sticks to the bottom of your boot sometimes. And if you're near a beach or a riverbank, there's a good chance you've seen it without ever knowing what it was. But here's the thing. Pick it up and hold a magnet near it, and it moves. Not because you pushed it, not because of the wind, because this rock is magnetic. Naturally, genuinely magnetic. A rock that acts like a magnet, sitting there in the sand, completely free, waiting for someone to notice it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at black sand the same way again. Okay, so picture this. You're at the beach. It's a nice day. You're walking along the waterline and you notice that some patches of sand look darker than others. Almost black. Heavy looking. Like the sand got tired and sat down. You probably walked right past it. Or maybe you picked up a handful, looked at it, shrugged, and let it fall through your fingers. Here's what you didn't know. That dark heavy sand? It's not just sand. It's a mineral. A very specific mineral with a very specific property that almost no other rock on Earth has naturally. It's magnetic. Like, actually magnetic. Hold a regular fridge magnet near a handful of this stuff and watch what happens. The black grains jump toward the magnet. They cluster together, they stick. It looks like something out of a science experiment. Except you found it on a public beach for free. For most of history, people had no idea what this black sand actually was. Miners in the American West used to curse at it because it clogged up their gold panning equipment. It was heavy, it was clingy, and it got in the way of finding actual gold. They called it black sand and treated it like an obstacle. What they didn't know, what nobody really understood until later, was that this annoying black sand was one of the most important minerals in human history. That militaries, engineers, and scientists around the world were desperately trying to source it. That without it, compasses don't work. Steel doesn't get made efficiently, and certain cancer treatments don't exist. The rock is called magnetite. And yes, that name comes from exactly what you think it comes from. So let's talk about what it actually looks like, because once you know, you'll spot it everywhere. Magnetite is black. Deep, dark, iron black. Sometimes it has a slight metallic sheen to it, almost like a very dark gray mirror in the right light. It's heavy for its size, noticeably heavy. Like someone filled a normal-looking pebble with lead. It forms in two main ways. Sometimes it grows as proper crystals, octahedral crystals, meaning 8-sided geometric shapes, like two pyramids stuck together base to base. These crystal specimens are genuinely beautiful and very collectible. Other times, and this is the version most hikers encounter, it forms as fine grains mixed into sand and gravel along beaches and riverbeds. That's the black sand version. Both are the same mineral. Both are magnetic. Here's how to identify it. And honestly, this is the most satisfying field test of any rock we've covered on this channel. Test 1. The magnet test. Carry a small neodymium magnet in your pocket. You can get them online for a couple of dollars. Hold it near any black sand or black pebble you find. If the material jumps toward the magnet, clusters around it, or sticks, that's magnetite. Nothing else common in nature does this the same way. The test takes about 3 seconds and it works every single time. Test 2. The streak test. Drag a piece of magnetite across unglazed ceramic tile. It leaves a black streak. This separates it from other dark minerals like hornblende or dark mica, which leave different colored streaks. Black rock plus black streak plus magnetic pull. That's your triple confirmation. You've got magnetite. The most common confusion is with hematite, another iron-rich black mineral that looks very similar. But hematite leaves a reddish-brown streak, not black. And hematite is not magnetic in its natural form. Run the magnet test and you'll know immediately. Magnetite pulls, hematite doesn't. So what is magnetite actually worth? And why does any of this matter? Raw magnetite specimens don't sell for thousands of dollars per stone like some gems we've covered. But don't let that fool you. The industrial value of magnetite is almost impossible to overstate. Let's start with steel. Magnetite is one of the primary iron ores used to make steel. Global steel production consumes hundreds of millions of tons of magnetite every year. Every steel beam in every building you've ever been in, every car, every bridge, every ship, all of it starts with iron ore. And magnetite is one of the main sources. Then there's the compass. Magnetite was the world's first compass. Ancient Chinese navigators discovered that a piece of naturally magnetic magnetite, they called it lodestone, would align itself with Earth's magnetic field if allowed to float freely. This discovery changed navigation forever. Without magnetite, the age of exploration as we know it simply doesn't happen. Columbus doesn't reach America. Magellan doesn't circumnavigate the globe. The entire course of human history bends differently. And then there's the medical side, and this one genuinely surprised me when I researched it. Magnetite nanoparticles are currently being used in cancer treatment research. Tiny particles of magnetite are injected near tumor sites and then activated with an external magnetic field, generating heat that targets and destroys cancer cells while leaving surrounding tissue unharmed. It's called magnetic hyperthermia. It's real, it's being tested in clinical trials right now, and it uses the same mineral you've been kicking aside on the beach. Collectible octahedral magnetite crystals sell for $15 to $80 depending on size and quality. Lodestone specimens, the naturally magnetic variety strong enough to pick up metal objects, sell for $20 to $150. Museum-quality crystal clusters go for several hundred. Industrial magnetite? The global market is worth over $80 billion annually. The miners cursed at it and threw it away. The modern world is built on it. Where can you actually find magnetite? Good news, it's one of the most widespread minerals on Earth. It's found on every continent, in almost every geological environment. In the United States, the beaches of Northern California, particularly around Gold Bluffs Beach in Humboldt County, have visible black sand deposits of magnetite mixed with other heavy minerals. The Adirondack Mountains in New York have massive magnetite deposits that were mined heavily in the 19th century. The Pacific Northwest coastline from Oregon up through Washington regularly shows magnetite-rich black sand along the shoreline. Globally, Sweden's Kiruna mine is one of the largest magnetite deposits ever discovered. New Zealand's black sand beaches on the North Island are famous among collectors. Norway, Russia, and Australia all have significant deposits. Geologically, look for magnetite in two main environments. First, near volcanic and metamorphic rock formations, magnetite commonly crystallizes during high-temperature geological processes. Second, along any beach or riverbed where heavy minerals concentrate, magnetite is dense, so it settles out of moving water and collects in natural traps along the bottom and edges of streams. Here's a real example. A teacher from Eureka, California took her class to Gold Bluffs Beach for a field trip. She handed every student a small magnet before they left the bus. Within 10 minutes of arriving, every single student had collected a cluster of black magnetite grains clinging to their magnet like a tiny black beard. One student asked if he could keep his. She said yes. He went back the following weekend with his dad and a stronger magnet. They spent 2 hours collecting magnetite samples from the beach. He entered the samples in his school science fair the following month and won first place. The mineral cost him nothing. It was just sitting there on a public beach. The mistake most people make is thinking that black sand is just dirty sand, and not stopping to investigate. If you're near any beach or riverbed and you see patches of darker, heavier-looking sand, don't just walk past. Pull out a magnet. Takes 3 seconds. And if those grains jump, you're holding a piece of the mineral that built the modern world. Now let me tell you the story of lodestone. Because this is one of those history moments that genuinely makes you stop and think. Around 2,500 years ago in ancient China, someone noticed something strange. A certain type of black rock, when placed on a smooth surface or floated on water, always rotated to point in the same direction, north, every single time, without fail. They called it a lodestone, a leading stone, a guiding stone. This discovery became the magnetic compass, and the magnetic compass changed everything. It allowed sailors to navigate on overcast days when stars weren't visible. It opened up deep ocean navigation that had previously been impossible. It directly enabled the age of exploration, the period when European ships crossed every ocean and connected every continent for the first time in human history. And it all started because someone picked up a black rock on the ground and noticed it was doing something strange. That same black rock is sitting on beaches and riverbanks right now, all over the world, waiting for someone to pick it up. Next time you see dark, heavy sand near a beach or riverbank, don't keep walking. Pull out a magnet, hold it close. Watch what happens. Because the rock that gave humanity the compass might be sitting right there at your feet. If you want to know which rocks are actually worth picking up, subscribe. Because next week we're covering a mineral that looks like an ordinary white rock in daylight. But shine a UV light on it in the dark, and it explodes in vivid neon green. And it's hiding in limestone caves and old buildings across the entire country. Drop a comment below. Have you ever found black sand on a beach and had no idea what it was? I'd love to hear where you were.